there is nothing wrong with your television set.
The Outer Limits is one of my all-time favorite series of classic sci-fi television, but they only produced 49 episodes of the original series. Now, not every episode was a classic, but out of the 49 episodes produced, there were some real standouts. There will be spoilers ahead, so keep that in mind before watching the rest of this video. Every list is subjective, and this one's no different. But here are my personal top 10 favorites of this fantastic sci-fi horror anthology series. Feel free to share yours in the comments. Number 10. A Feasibility Study. A feasibility study involves the teleportation of a 6-block suburban area to the planet Luminos, where the residents are subjected to a chilling experiment. The alien luminoids want to enslave humans to serve their needs. They're suffering from a genetic disease that makes them immobile as they age. The story gets more intense when the neighbors learn what the luminoids are planning to do and what will happen if they disobey. They'll be infected with the luminoids' debilitating disease through a simple touch. When they realize there's no escape and no possibility of returning to Earth, the residents make a difficult choice. In an act of defiance and sacrifice, they choose to contract the disease from each other, opting for death over enslavement and saving the human race. Number 9. Soldier. In the episode Soldier, we're transported to a battlefield of the future where two soldiers, Quarlo and the nameless enemy, are locked in a deadly battle. War is the only reality they've ever known, and they're the ultimate soldiers, trained from birth to kill. When a random energy weapon strikes both, they're thrown into a time vortex and land in the year 1964. Quarlo is captured by the US government, and a linguist named Tom Kagan tries to decipher what seems like a strange foreign language, but is, in reality, a broken form of English. He takes Quarlo to his home, where he starts to form a bond with Kagan's family. There's a poignant scene where Quarlo stops himself from striking Kagan's daughter, showing that his suppressed emotions are starting to emerge. However, the piece is short-lived as the enemy soldier, who was also transported to 1964, resumes his hunt for Quarlo. The episode climaxes in a dramatic battle between the two soldiers from the future. Soldier, written by Harlan Ellison, who also wrote another episode in my top 10, delves into the concept of soldiers being used as human weapons controlled by their governments. The episode ends with the haunting question: did the soldier finally come to care for those he protected, or was it just his instinct to kill? Number 8. I, Robot. This is not your typical Monster of the Week episode of The Outer Limits, but it's still one of my favorites. While most episodes have some sort of a creature, or bear as they called it, this is more of a legal drama. A drama that puts a robot on trial for murdering its creator. In the episode I, Robot, the story focuses on the trial of Adam Link, who's a highly advanced robot with emotions. Adam is accused of murdering his creator, Dr. Charles Link, but Nina Link, the creator's niece, believes that Adam is innocent. A reporter, played by Leonard Nimoy, convinces Nina to enlist a local retired defense lawyer named Thurman Cutler to take the case to defend the robot. Cutler is skeptical at first, but agrees to take on the historic case. The episode then becomes a courtroom drama, with the trial delving into what it means to be human. The district attorney stages a display of Adam's incredible strength and tendency for violence when he has his safety circuits disabled. Adam goes on a rampage, wrecking the courtroom and nearly killing the judge. After testimony, the judge finds Adam guilty and orders him to be destroyed. As Adam is led out of the courtroom, a little girl wanders in front of a speeding truck, and Adam throws her out of harm's way, saving the girl, but destroying himself in the process. Number 7. The Man Who Was Never Born. The story begins with astronaut Joseph Reardon accidentally traveling through time to a desolate Earth of the future. There, he meets Andro, a horribly mutated human affected by a biological disaster created by a scientist named Bertram Cabot Jr. This resulted in a virus developed by Cabot, which has rendered humanity sterile and the Earth completely barren. Reardon plans to return to his time with Andro to prevent this future from ever happening. However, Reardon vanishes during their time travel, leaving Andro alone with the mission to somehow stop Cabot's disastrous experiment. Using his ability to appear normal through hypnotic suggestion, Andro searches for Cabot, only to find he's too early. Cabot Jr. hasn't even been born yet. Andro ends up falling in love with Noelle, who's Cabot's future mother, and reveals his true nature and mission to her, hoping she'll believe him. He convinces Noelle to travel to the future with him to prevent the birth of Cabot Jr. and save the human race. As they arrive back in the future, Andro realizes the paradox of his existence. Without Cabot Jr.'s experiment, Andro was never born. Number 6. The Invisibles. The Invisibles weaves together science fiction and espionage themes. The plot follows a government agent named Spain, an undercover operative, infiltrating the Invisibles, a secret group using parasitic aliens to control and manipulate high-powered individuals. This episode is dripping with paranoia and conspiracy and is home to some of the most interesting camera angles and use of terrifying sounds coming from the parasitic creatures. From the cold opening to the end credits, this one is super creepy. The small crab-like parasites themselves are not very terrifying due to the limited 1960s special effects, but the idea of them attaching to their host's spinal cords with the purpose of taking over key government figures and businessmen is very much like an X-Files case. Spain finally uncovers the truth of the Invisibles while evading becoming a host himself. This episode questions the control and influence of our political leaders and blends the intrigue of a spy thriller with the threat of an alien takeover. Number 5. The Zeta Misfits. The Zeta Misfits is one of the most memorable and iconic episodes from The Outer Limits, and one of my personal top 5. This episode has a unique blend of science fiction and horror, and it leaves a lasting impression with its distinctive and unsettling alien creatures, the Zeta. The plot revolves around Earth being used as a penal colony by the alien Zeta government for their criminals. The Zeta, intelligent but small beings with ant-like bodies and human-like faces, are sent to an isolated ghost town in the American Southwest. The U.S. military, tasked with providing a safe haven for these alien prisoners, face off with the Zeta when 2 civilians accidentally encounter the Zeta ship, leading to a tense human-alien confrontation. The episode reaches a climax filled with action, highlighting the Zeta as both invaders and victims of their own society's harsh justice system. Number 4. Corpus Earthling. Corpus Earthling combines science fiction with psychological horror. The story follows Dr. Paul Cameron, a geologist with a metal plate in his skull from an accident, which unexpectedly allows him to hear strange and threatening voices. These voices are revealed to be communications from sentient, parasitic rocks from another world planning to take over the Earth. As crazy as it sounds, the concept of malevolent controlling rocks creates a highly paranoid atmosphere, as the rocks can actually possess human bodies. Cameron, initially disbelieved due to his injury, faces both a physical and psychological battle against these invaders. With his wife Laurie, he embarks on a journey to thwart the alien threat and to save humanity. Corpus Earthling stands out for its exploration of isolation, paranoia, and the difficulty in distinguishing reality from delusion. The episode also features actor Robert Culp, who just happens to appear in 3 of my top 5 episodes. So with that said, next up is number 3, Demon with a Glass Hand. Demon with a Glass Hand also features Robert Culp and was written by legendary author Harlan Ellison, specifically with Culp in mind. Set in a dystopian future, the story follows Trent, who has no memory of his life before the previous 10 days. Trent is being chased by humanoid aliens, the Kybin, with the only clue to his past being a sentient glass hand missing 3 fingers and capable of speech and thought. The glass hand reveals crucial information about his mission and identity and guides him to find its missing parts, which will unlock the truth about his existence. When the hand is completed, we finally find out that Trent is not a human, but a robot created to save the human race from extinction. Trent exhibits human qualities and, like the episode I, Robot, blurs the lines between man and machine. Number 2. The Architects of Fear. Picking this episode at number 2 was an incredibly hard decision. Even though I put this at number 2 on my list, it could easily have been my number 1 pick. The Architects of Fear is set against the backdrop of the Cold War era. A group of scientists concoct a desperate plan to avert nuclear war. They want to unite humanity against a manufactured alien threat, believing a common enemy will prevent global destruction. To execute this plan, they select one of their own, Dr. Alan Layton, to undergo a radical transformation, turning him into a creature from the planet Theta. Layton's death is staged and the painful procedure begins, unknown to his wife Yvette, who refuses to believe he is dead. The scientists send Layton into orbit as a weather satellite and program his spacecraft to land at the United Nations building to create panic and unify the world against a perceived invader. But the spaceship goes off course and comes down in a wooded area near the lab, where he encounters armed hunters and is gravely injured. In the climax, Yvette, sensing his distress, rushes to the lab where she encounters the alien who is, in reality, her transformed husband. In his dying moments, Alan communicates with a familiar hand sign, revealing his true identity to his horrified wife. This episode was originally censored by some network affiliates as being too frightening for their audiences, with some showing a black screen at the end, or others not broadcasting the episode at all. Number 1. The Sixth Finger. The Sixth Finger comes in at number 1 on my list and also stars one of my favorite actors, Mr. David McCallum. The story centers around Gwillem Griffiths, a coal miner in a small village. Gwillem is a simple man with ambitions making him feel trapped and frustrated by his ordinary, labor-intensive life. His fortunes seem to change when he is introduced to Professor Mathers, a scientist conducting radical experiments on accelerating human evolution. Eager to escape his current life, Gwillem volunteers to be the subject of Mathers' experiment, which involves a machine that can speed up the evolutionary process and propel Gwillem millions of years into the future in terms of human development. As the experiment progresses, Gwillem undergoes a dramatic physical and mental transformation. One of the most striking aspects of the Sixth Finger is the visual depiction of Gwillem's evolution. His appearance changes as the episode progresses, with a large cranium to accommodate an expanded brain and the development of a sixth finger on each hand. But the changes aren't just physical. Gwillem's intellect and emotional capacity evolve as well, raising questions about what it truly means to be human. The story reaches a critical moment when Gwillem, now vastly superior in intellect and ability, decides to eradicate the mining town that he hates. If you'd like to support the channel, consider becoming a channel member for as little as 99 cents a month by clicking on the link in the description for more information. For a deeper dive into this episode, click this video right here. And that's it for my top 10 favorite Outer Limits episodes. Let me know your own list in the comments below, and if you like this video, make sure to like, share, and subscribe, but most of all, thanks for watching. This is Rich from Rerun Zone. I'll see you next time.